vibes. We're doing 40-ish minutes of live side split stretching, and we do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and hopefully, with that consistency, with that community, with the good vibes that we bring every single day, it'll be a lot easier for us to make a whole bunch of progress in our side split goals and for our hip mobility. I think Sheena just popped in. Hello, hello. Welcome back, Sheena. I need to turn up screen brightness. Give me a second. Whew. Okay. I think turning up screen brightness freezes me for a second because the app goes, whoa, there's nothing happening. But now I can read the chat a little bit better from over here. Okay. Let's give everybody another minute or so to get in, and then we will get started. Sunny says, hello from Chicago. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. In Chicago, are you one time zone off the East Coast? So is that 8 p.m.? No. Yes, 8 p.m. That's good. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back, Lulu. Oh, everybody's so hello-y today. Love it. Okay. Let's get those hip cars started. Also, if you need to move around before we even do that, go ahead and take it. Ooh. Okay. Hip cars. Let's do them. Starting with high knee. Opening up that hip directly to the side. Try to keep that knee high. Rotate the leg so that the knee and the ankle are both as high as possible. Pull that leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Feel that stretch in the front of your hip flexor. Try to bring this knee behind the standing leg's knee. And that is 1 rep. We're going to do 10 more on the left side, 10 on the right side. Let's go. These are all about staying strong and tight and trying to get maximum range of motion out of your hip muscles. You're training your muscles, you're getting stronger, you're slowly convincing your body to get better at being able to get into these deeper positions without stretching. All right, I think that's 3. Let's keep going. 4. Wow, I'm surprisingly off balance. I feel like the last couple of days have had incredible balance. And there we go, I'm back in the groove. 7. 8. 9. Last one. 10. Whew. That is 1 leg. Let's get ready to do the other leg. Hip cars. High knee. Open. Ankle. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle. Down and back. Let's do it from the side. High knee. Open. Ankle. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle. Down and back. High knee. Open. Ankle. Down and back. I feel like if I do them sideways, I have to work a little bit harder because I have to do the thing that I'm telling you to do as much as possible. Flex those muscles, get into that end range of motion. And I have absolutely no idea how many we've done, but I think that's at least 7. So let's call this 8. 9. And 10. All right. 10. Now let's do hip cars going in reverse. Same moves, we're just going to do them in backwards order. So we're going to start with this down and back. Bring this bent knee behind the standing knee. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull. Feel that stretch in the hip flexor. Lift directly to the side. Rotate the leg so the ankle is down and the knee is up. Then bring that knee to the front. Let's do 10 more. Back, side, ankle, knee, back, side, ankle, knee, back, side, ankle, knee, back, side, ankle, knee, back, side, ankle, knee. I think it's 5. We're almost done. 6. If you need to hold on to something for better balance, please go ahead and do that. I recommend something that's at least hip height or higher, so you don't have to bend down in order to reach it. And that lets you focus on the movements. I think that was 9, and that means this is 10. Whew. All right, one more leg. We're almost done with the hip cars, with the first part of our warm-up. Let's continue. All right, back, side, lift as high as you can, rotate the leg, get that knee high. Oh, bring the knee to the front. My hip just cracked, but I know that's gonna happen, and it's not making so much noise on the second and third reps. All right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I'm off balance. Ah. Last one. Back, side, ankle, knee. 10. Whew. All right, those are the hip cars. We are all done with those. That is the first of our 3 warm-up exercises. And take a quick breath, do some breathing, drink your waters, have some coffee. You're probably not in the right time zone for coffee right now. Don't mess up your sleep, but okay. Denalcy says, I'm still sore from the no warm-up side splits yesterday. Oh no! Oh no! Well, that is a good little piece of information for me to let people know that if they're gonna do side splits without warm-up, be very, 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 very gentle, because there might be consequences. Thank you for letting me know. All right, let's get into part 2 of our warm-up. We are doing some hamstring stretching. This is light and gentle. This is all a warm-up. You don't have to be super warmed up prior to coming to this video. So we're just folding in this L shape, focused on bringing the belly button down towards the ground, and just chill here for a little bit. Keep on focusing on bringing the belly button towards the ground. Your hamstrings are going to tighten up, and that's exactly what we want. Now, let's add a little bit of a knee bend. Bend that knee forward, shift your weight, bend the next knee forward, shift your weight. Keep on trying to bring your belly button low to the ground. Feel those hamstrings sort of kind of sliding around, and like might feel a little bit weird, but that is what we want. We want you feeling that stretch while you're moving. All right. If you're feeling like you're really good at this and you're super flexible, you can try, I don't know if you can see this, but I have a little TV stand right here. You can try something like this. Really lean into that hamstring stretch. You can almost turn this into a little bit of a yoga pose and do the same thing. I'm not that flexible, so this is a little bit awkward for me, but I'm really feeling it in my calves instead of my hamstrings. So make sure you're feeling it in your hamstrings, but a little bit of calf is not bad at all. It's very, very useful because we need those too. All right, go ahead. Keep on playing with these. When you start feeling like things are moving a little bit more smoothly, we're going to add some twisty rotational things for our back, for our arms, for our neck, and let's get into it now. Okay, whew. Twisty stuff. Let's go. We're in that same position, legs pretty close together, but not super close, not touching or anything like that. Bend the left knee, straighten the right leg, take your left hand, grab that right leg, push against it, help open your chest, rotate your chest to the right, stick your right arm into the air, and look at those fingers, look at that twisting. So now your neck is twisting a little bit, your back is twisting a little bit, your shoulders are working real hard to pull your fingers back, your fingers are flexing, trying to point that way, and again, try to bring your belly button down, feel that hamstring stretch, in this case, feel that oblique stretch, and come on back down. Whew. That is half of 1 rep. We're going to do 5 of these. Let's go. Other side, right knee is bent, left leg is straight, right hand grabs left leg, chest opens to the left, left arm goes up, head rotates to the left to look at the fingers, bring the belly button down, Hold it for a second, really twist, open, and whew, come back down. Now we've done one. All right, less talky, more twisty. Here's 2 and 3. If you get really excited about the twisting, you might forget about the hamstring stretch. Remember, after you do everything, make sure your belly button is coming down to the ground, and you'll feel a stretch in your obliques, the sides of your core, the sides of your abs, I guess. I think this is 4. We got one last one. Shake it out, relax, and let's go. Last one. 5. Whew. Okay. Let me know if you feel like your back feels a little bit looser, your shoulders feel a bit better. If they don't, if you want more twisting, if you're already kneeling, you can add a little bit of this into your life. You basically come into a kneeling push-up position, and then you just tuck your arm in that way, and stick your arm as far forward, and by forward I mean out to the side as you can. It'll force your upper back to rotate a little bit. Since we're down here, take a couple seconds. Give your back some love, some shoulder, some love, and whew, I hope that helps you feel a little bit better, helps you feel a little bit more warmed up, because we are done with the second of our warm-up exercises. It's time to get into number 3, the Cossack switch. All right, I'm going to scroll into the chat real quick, see if there's anything else we need to address. No, but there are a lot of lovely people hitting that follow, that subscribe button. Thank you so much for following on and joining. I appreciate it. If you are here and have no idea what we're doing 40-ish minutes of live side split stretching. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We do it to build consistency, both for you and for me, because I need it too. And the consistency helps us come back, hang out together a lot, which turns into a little bit of a community, and hopefully fun vibes, consistency, community makes it a lot easier for you to get much better hip mobility and make some progress in those side splits. All right, let's get into the Cossack switch, warm-up exercise number 3. What we're going to do is we're going to point our feet out, probably about 30, 45-ish degrees. I think 30 for most people is a little bit better, so 45, come in a little bit. Cool. I want you to make sure when you travel to the side like so, your knee is traveling in the same direction as your toes. If my foot was pointed directly at you instead of off to the side, it would look something like this. Knee is traveling over the toes. What I don't want is your knee bowing in. What I don't want is your knee going out over there. I want it to be mostly in line with the toes. Cool? So go ahead, slowly drop into that position. You can shift the angle. You don't have to maintain that 45. Maybe you find that it's much more comfortable for you to maintain a 20-degree angle that way. And once you are as low into that stretch as you can, you'll feel the stretch. So you'll feel the stretch in the Achilles tendon, maybe in the calves. You'll feel a little bit of pressure building in the front of that ankle and pressure building in that hip. That is exactly what we want. We just want you to chill here for a little bit because this is the warm-up. We want to get the muscles ready before we do stuff. All right. While we're waiting for this leg to get used to this, let's talk about the other leg. This leg, heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. This is called external rotation. We're going to use this later for the side split. It's very important. So again, heels are down, toes are up, knees are up. All right, let's scoot over to the other side. Put your hands down on the floor. Give yourself a little support. Move your butt all the way over to the other side so you are hanging out on this leg. Same thing. You want to feel the pressure in the front of the ankle. You want to feel that Achilles tendon stretch, that calf stretch. You want to feel a little bit of pressure in that hip. To reduce some of that pressure, you can always put your elbow over your knee to give your upper body something to rest on so you don't have to hold it up the whole time. And we're going to hang out here for a couple seconds as well, just to be fair. All right. Once you got a little bit more comfortable in this position, you should be feeling a little bit of a stretch in the outside butt area, at least a little bit. unless you have really mobile hips anyway, then maybe not. And we are going to start shifting from side to side, which is basically what we did to get across. So if you want to keep it low intensity, we can keep our hands down on the floor and come across to the other side. If you want to pick up the intensity, you want to do the opposite. You want to build some serious strength. Try to straighten up so your upper body is going straight up into the air. Stick your hands out to counterbalance and try to shift from side to side like that. If this is a little bit too intense for your knees, that's okay. You can come up a little bit, reduce that depth, come over to the other side, and then slowly come down into it. Alternatively, you can come into some full squats and then come down. I have no idea how many I've already done, but let's aim for 5 to 10 for you and go ahead and get started. Again, the easier versions would be putting your hand down and going from side to side like so. What we really care about is you spending a little bit of time transitioning from side to side, making sure that you get these deep stretched out positions, because this right here is basically the side split on one leg, all right? And the other leg is in like a deep hip stretchy position, and it's really good for you to be in that position. So spend some time there. Don't worry about it. What we're doing with the movement is trying to add a strength component to it. We want you to get stronger in this position so that your body knows you can control hanging out in this position. So as you're developing your strength, you can put your hands down. If you're pretty strong, you can keep your hands up. If you're really strong, you can really try to keep that upper back nice and straight and go from side to side. All right. Once you have done a couple of these, you're starting to feel like they're getting a little smoother. You figured out that sort of movement, and it's not so like sharp and pauseful. How do I say this? When you get smooth with it, then we were pretty close to done with this as a warm up. All right. Oh, okay. Whew. If your hips are tired, that was a lot. Go ahead, take a couple seconds, breathe, drink some water, shake it out, and we are going to get started with our hamstring stretch in just a second. Go ahead and grab a cushion, something to protect your knee, and I go ahead and check the chat. Okay. All this does is weaken your muscles, lowers tensile strength of tendons and muscle fibers. That is not untrue. We're doing side split stretching, and we are going to be hanging out in a stretched position. So that is the point to a certain extent, hoping that we train them up and get a little bit stronger afterwards. Ganowski says, are you stressed, Ken? Is that gray hair? I definitely have gray hair. And am I stressed? I guess I'm stressed, but I'm also, I don't know if you know this or if you expected this, but I'm also in my 30s. I think this is when gray hairs come in. So I have not been blessed with the dark hair genes forever. I'm pretty sure my dad had a whole head of white hair by 30 something, but I would also say my dad was way more stressed than I was at my age. So that also seems reasonable. He had a whole head of white hair. Yeah. So yes, I have gray hair. All right, hamstring stretch. Let's get into it. We are focused on keeping those hips and the shoulders pointing directly forward. We are focused on sticking that leg out. We don't want to go and push super far forward at the moment. This might look more like a front split, but we're focusing on the hamstring stretch happening here, not everything else that might be happening. Cool? So from here, I want you to bring the belly button down towards that thigh. Feel the hamstring stretch building. You might feel something around the glute-ish area. It's probably where the hamstring connects into the pelvis. And we're gonna come and get as low as we can with some breathing. I want you to inhale and slowly exhale and see if you can get a little bit deeper. Relax into the stretch. Your hamstrings are gonna tighten up, and that is gonna be uncomfortable, but that's part of the process. All right. Once you've done this, go ahead and do another round if you want to. We're going to start our 30 seconds. In the hamstring stretch, you have a couple of little tweaks you can make. You can really straighten out that leg and fold downwards. You can slightly bend the knee if that makes you uncomfortable with the straight leg, that is. And you can really bring your chest down first as much as you can, and then try to straighten out the leg slowly. All right, hamstring stretch is still getting worked, and is a perfectly good way of doing it 2 ways. All right, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, come on up out of that stretch. Whew. I feel like that was my deepest hamstring stretch in a while. So maybe some combination of that slightly different warm up and whatever else I guess we did today is doing me good. All right, wrong leg. Switch over to the other side. Again, make sure your hips, your shoulders are all pointing forward in that same direction. Your leg goes straight out in front. We don't want to extend it, so this back leg is out here. Keep it all tucked in nice and tight. You won't have to work as hard to get into a deep hamstring stretch. Cool? All right. Same thing. Bring the belly button down to the thigh. Your hamstrings are going to tighten up. They're going to get really intense. Take a nice big deep breath in. Exhale slowly and see if you can release. Do a couple more of these if you want. Really focus on trying to relax into that stretch a little bit. And your hamstrings are going to be super tight. That's it. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on up. Out of that stretch. Get rid of the cushion. You don't need it anymore. I'm going to gently lay it down because I have learned that lesson after many attempts of throwing it. My back. Oh, okay. On YouTube, we got a question that says, man, my back is popping. What do you recommend? Oh, okay. That is complex. It really depends. Actually, let me backtrack. The probably most reasonable answer I can give is I have no idea. I am not going to have a really good answer for you. I can give you some things you can test potentially, but I don't know. This is coffee, black coffee. And partially that is because if your back is popping, making a whole bunch of noise, it really depends on where that popping is coming from, right? Your low back, your upper back, your middle back. Sometimes if you just have a stiff back, you've been hanging out in a chair all day, you just do a little bit of a twist, there's all sorts of popping and cracking sounds that could happen, right? If it doesn't hurt, it's not necessarily bad, but if you're having that popping happening while you're doing the hamstring stretch, I assume it's coming a little bit from your low back and If it's coming from your upper back, it's probably not that much of an issue in general, but I really don't know anything about specific back and bone, spine stuff all that much. So I think that's all I can say. So, all right, cool. Moving on. Let's see. And Nasty says, "You're so young, though. How can I have such sad gray hair being so young?" All right. Oh, maybe my dad will stretch with us one day. My dad is super stiff. If you've been following the account and you're like, man, how has Ken been working on these stretches every single day for a year and not getting any more, or I mean, not becoming like a superhuman flexible? I point to my dad. He cannot touch his toes, even though he also trains casually, like every single day, and it's bad. I've been trying to get him to level up, but I think my mom has like really good flexibility, passive flexibility. She doesn't train at all or do anything, and she can like just casually like fold down. Her hamstrings are so loose she can just like fold so that her head touches her shin bones. And I'm like, what? You know how hard I have to work to get anywhere close to that? And she can drop into basically almost a side split. And I've like this was the first time in my life that I was telling her, I was like, oh yeah, I'm really training my flexibility like a year ago. And she's like, oh cool, like what are you working on? It was absurd. And I guess one of the problems is my parents are on totally like different ends of the spectrum. So like if you try to make them train together, my mom's would be like, wow, you're so stiff. And you know, she's like basically throwing shade at my dad, and it's not very encouraging. You know, that's not very supportive. So having them both work out at the same time is really annoying because my mom's just throwing like the most casual of shade in like yeah, it's hilarious, but also bad. Um, Daniel says, "Hello from Romania. In my country, it is 4:28 in the morning. It is really early in the morning. You should probably be sleeping. I hope, I hope I'm not keeping you up. But if you're here and you're not gonna go back to sleep, I guess welcome to the Side Splits show. And we do this every day for 40 plus minutes to practice consistency, build a little community, and hopefully together with the good vibes, it'll make it a lot easier to get to much better hip mobility because you'll keep coming back, I keep coming back, and maybe we'll get the side splits one day. Cool. All right. Where are we at? I think we just finished the hamstring stretch. Let's get into butterfly. All right. Ooh, butterfly. Regular butterfly looks like this. Actually, I've casually known this, but I never remember what it's called. That in other countries they call this the Taylor's pose. I think in the UK it's more often called the Taylor's pose. And we're basically grabbing our feet, pulling them in, trying to bring our knees to the ground. The goal of this stretch is stretching out these muscles on the inside. The groin! The groin is what we're stretching. But it is pretty hard to focus on pushing the knees down into the ground and opening up those hips. And especially if you have pretty rough, sort of this hip rotation, this forward folding, the more difficult that is for you, the more difficult it will be to focus on opening up your hips. That is why we go ahead and use the wall. This wall. This is in the way. Ugh. When you're leaning against the wall, you don't have to focus on trying to stay balanced. You don't have to focus on working so hard trying to fold forward. You can keep your back nice and straight. So my butt, my shoulders, my head are touching the wall. And as you can see, magically, my legs are coming way down. They're way more open. And all we did was give ourselves a little bit of support. Cool? So we're always trying to strengthen our muscles as we stretch. Right now, what I want you to strengthen is these outer thigh muscles and your glutes. I want you to use them to open up your hips as much as you can. The goal is to bring the knees towards the ground. The more you get there in that direction, the better. All right, keep on contracting, open up those hips. Once you cannot get any further, your muscles are as tight can be. Once you take your hand and apply a little bit of pressure from above, you start feeling pressure on the back of your head and your shoulders because you're basically pushing into the wall and pushing into your legs at the same time. The wall is basically helping you get deeper. That's it. Let's go. Hold this for 30 seconds. Keep contracting, keep breathing, keep pushing. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. I know this is super calm. We're just sitting here. Don't chill too much. Keep on pushing those legs down. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Let the hands go first. If you've been here for a little bit, your legs are probably a little stuck. Just move your legs around with your hand muscles, your arm muscles for a second, and then your leg muscles will revive and they'll start working again. All right, let's shake it out. The butterfly stretch is actually really good because it works a lot of muscles that are very, 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 very similar to when we do the side splits, right? In essence, this is like a half side split. If we were doing this very thing right here, and then we extended our legs, it'd be very close to what we look like when we do a side split. Cool? All right, so this is kind of an easier version of the side split if you want to think about it that way. But once you extend your legs, more muscles get involved and it starts becoming more challenging. Cool. All right, that is warm-up exercise number 2. Let's get into warm-up exercise. Not warm. What am I even saying? That is stretch number 2. Let's get into stretch number 3, the standing pancake. Standing pancake generally looks a little bit like this. We're opening up those legs nice and wide. When it's almost uncomfortable here in the hips, I want you to fold forward. Put your hands down if you need to. And this is the starting position for the standing pancake. This is what it looks like from the side. This is what it looks like from the front. I want you to focus on trying to keep that upper back mostly straight, mostly flat. And I want you to focus on bringing the belly button down towards the ground. All right? If you want, you can grab your legs. You can pull yourself deeper into that stretch. It might be really intense in the hamstrings. You might really feel it tingly in the glutes. And those are all good and fine. If you want to do it slightly differently, you can pop those hips back a little bit to help you counterbalance. Stick your arms out in front of you and really focus on folding forward. All right, those are your 2 variations. Get ready, get into position. I'm doing this one. If you need to take a break, you can always put your hands down, take a couple of breaths, and then continue. All right, that's it with instructions. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, come on up out of that stretch position. If that felt intense, that's because it is intense. In the standing pancake, we're starting to combine a whole bunch of the stretches that we've already been doing, the hamstring stretches, the hip opening stretches like the butterfly, and sort of that deep leg Cossack switch position, all into the main movement. And because we're working all of them at the same time, it's going to be really confusing, and your whole body is going to be like, wow, it hurts here, it hurts there, it hurts everywhere. This is brutal. And that is totally normal. That is totally normal. All right, let's move on into stretch number 4, the pigeon. We get to focus on that side hip, side butt. Let's see. Figure 4 is all about this thing right here. We're crossing this leg, over to the other side so that the ankle is just about above your opposite knee. This makes that number 4, and that's why it's called a figure 4 stretch. I think yesterday we did pigeon, so today we'll do figure 4. These are just 2 variations, 2 ways to do basically the same stretch. All right, so for the figure 4 stretch, let's get on our backs and get ready to do it. We're gonna stick this leg out, the one that we're planning to stretch, cross it over to the opposite knee, reach your hand through, reach your hand around, pull that leg in, and as you get closer to your leg, as you bring your leg closer to your chest, I guess, we'll start feeling the stretch out here in this side hip, almost glute area. Cool? That's it. Let's go. Hold it. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27. It's really easy to slack off and relax too much. Really focus on pulling those arms in, pulling the leg in. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. If you feel like there's a little bit of pressure in your knee and it's uncomfortable, you can always grab the whole leg around this way so that it's not you applying pressure to your ankle and pulling the leg in. You can pull the leg in directly like so. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, relax. Let that stretch go. And let's switch to the other side. All right. Same thing. We're sticking that leg out, crossing it over to the other side, putting our arms through the triangle that we made and around the other side. We get into this position, and let's go ahead and pull inwards. Ready? 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. I am finding, I don't know when this started happening, because I'm only kind of noticing it now, that my right leg is a lot tighter than my left leg. And my right knee is much higher or much closer to my chest than my right ankle. And I wonder if it's always been like this, or if I'm just been not paying attention to it at all, because I look up and not on my leg during the pigeon. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, okay, we're done. That is the 4 of our 5 stretches. This is our last 30-second stretch, and I say last because we're going to do much more than 30 seconds after this point. The 5th and final stretch is the side splits, and is what we are all here for, what we've been training for. To do those, we are going to do 3 rounds of 30 seconds. Cool? Let's get into it. All right. Oh, for these, I'm now trying to put my leg behind my head. Oh my gosh, that is so flexible. Okay. Let's continue. Let's do the side splits. Before we get right into the actual movement, I want to talk about safety real quick. If you are in a deep open leg position, you start falling forward, it's easy enough to catch yourself with your arms. That's good. But if you start falling backwards and you go, oh my gosh, if you have a wall behind you, the wall will help keep you safe. Maybe your shoulder will hit first, maybe your back will hit first, maybe your butt will land first. And those are all good things. They'll keep your back safe, keep your heart feeling less stressed, and all is good. All right, so stay pretty close to that wall. I recommend 8 to 12 inches. That's about one step in front of the wall for most people. Let's go ahead and get into those side splits. Open up those hips nice and wide. When it gets uncomfortable here in the hips, fold forward, put your hands down. We're going to shift some of that weight into the arms, and that's important because you want to make it easier for your legs to externally rotate. We talked about this in the Cossack switch in the very beginning of the workout, but external rotation means your heels are down, your toes are up, and your knees are up. I think yesterday we had someone who struggled with having their toes up. If you have your toes slightly pointed forward and not totally flexed up, it should be okay. It does put more pressure into the heels, so it might be a little bit less comfortable, but you can always grab some flip-flops, some foam stuff for your feet to give yourself a little bit more comfort. If you need to, put on some sneakers. And I say that now after we're already in this weird, awkward position. But if you need to go do it, take a couple seconds. We'll be here. All right. What else? What else? What else? What else? Once we are in this position where the toes are up, the heel is down, and the knee is pointing up, I want you to walk your hands back towards your hips. Put that weight right back into your legs, and you might feel a little bit stuck. That's totally normal. That's totally okay. I want you to do a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. See if friction is holding you back. And that little wiggle will break that friction. Once you are totally as deep as you can get, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. You can add that little wiggle at any time to see if you can squeeze a little bit more depth out of that stretch. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, lean forward. You're good, but I caught it like a pro. And walk your hands forward so that you can more easily pull your knees in. Whew. Kneel for a second, let your legs relax from that stretch. I don't think you can notice, but occasionally, especially on round 2 and stretch round 3, when I pull my legs in into like this tight compressed position here, sometimes like the sides of these muscles will start quivering and there'll be a little bit of a shake. If you're not there, great. If you never end up there, then maybe we need to stretch a little bit harder, but that's okay for right now. All right, let's see. Checking out the chat. Ooh, I think there's a whole bunch of Spanish that I don't understand. I'm sorry. Actually, is that? I don't even know. Yes, Eduardo. Thank you. I think you're calling me a good-looking dude, and congratulations. But that is my very elementary, like 1 year of Spanish. You think that's Portuguese? Okay, I hope I'm not super wrong. All right, let's continue. That was round 1 of our side splits. Let's shake it out and relax. What we're trying to do is undo the tension from what we were just doing, the side splits, where we stressed out our entire leg, our hips, everything going on down here. To help relax, we're going to shake. We're going to wiggle. We're going to flop. We're going to noodle the heck around. And this is important because the more you can flop, the more you can wiggle, the more you can relax, the easier it is to prove to all your muscles that they are relaxed and they are just chilling. Maybe do some like leg flopping around this way to get some of these bigger muscles to relax. But once you have done some good shaking, some good noodling, your legs will probably feel a little bit better. Let's do some quick checks to make sure that after all that intensity in the side split, your joints are still working good. So let's start with some hip circles. You don't have to do very many. We're just making sure nothing hurts, nothing's uncomfortable. High knees. We're going to do some mini squats. Just a little bit of pressure into the knee, a little bit of pressure into the ankle. Come onto those toes if you want. Do some calf raises. And once you've done those quick checks, you'll know everything is working more or less. So we can continue into round 2 of the side splits. If you're having fun, if you're enjoying the video, if you're feeling like you're getting a good stretch, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe. We do this every day to practice consistency, and I'd love it if you keep coming back. All right, let's go. Round 2. We're going to step 1 foot in front of the wall. And when I say 1 foot, I mean 1 step, 1 footprint, somewhere for most people between like 8 to 12 inches. We are opening up those legs nice and wide. Once the pressure is building in the hip, fold forward, put your hands down like you're going to do a push-up, and externally rotate those legs, which means your toes are pointing up, your heels are down on the floor, and your knees are pointing up. All right, walk those hands back towards your hips. Your legs should start opening up a little bit as we move. You might already be deeper than how deep you got for the previous stretch altogether, and that is amazing. Now, we're going to do a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. See if you can get a little bit deeper, break that last little bit of friction, holding you back. And once you cannot get any deeper, can't find any more depth, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Seventeen, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, lean forward, crawl. Pull your arms in front of you, pull your legs in behind you, and take that break if you need it. Whew. Man, that was intense. That was round 2 of our side splits. Let's shake it out. Get loose. Ugh. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Loosen up all those muscles, nice and relaxed. If you're wondering why we're shaking them out so aggressively, it's because when they are loose, when they're relaxed, it's much easier to get a little bit more range of motion out of that next stretch. We want to give it time to relax. We want to give it time to loosen up. We sort of want to give it a nice little reset. And shaking is a really fast way to prove that you are loose. If your muscles are all tight, you start, walking a little bit like a tin man at the joints, right? But if your muscles are relaxed, then they'll flop around when you shake them out like this, right? My ankles are flopping around like it's a blender or something. My legs are moving from side to side, wiggling, and let's do our joint checks. Hip circles. Ooh. High knees. Ooh. If anything feels a little bit uncomfortable, feels weird, go ahead and spend a little bit of extra time on that movement. And let's do the same thing for our squats. Some knee pressure, some ankle pressure, come up on those toes, make sure your feet are feeling good, do some calf raises. Once you've done all those things, there's no pain, everything feels more or less okay, we are ready for our third and final round of side splits. I'm going to take a quick water break. I hope you also go drink some water. And by water, I mean coffee. Downed it. All right. Joshua says, all done. Thanks. Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye, Josh. See you tomorrow. All right. That is everything. Yes, we're on the final countdown. It's the last and final side split. Let's get into it. Hope you had your water break. Let's go. Same thing. Step 1, step in front of that wall so that if you fall backwards, the wall will catch you, help keep you safe. Open up those legs nice and wide. When you feel the pressure at the hips, fold forward, put your hands down. Externally rotate the legs, which means your toes are pointing up, your heels are down, and your knee is up. Walk your hands back towards your hips and see if you can come pretty darn low to the ground. It will feel really good if you made a lot of progress since that first rep a couple minutes ago. And if you can wiggle a little bit from side to side to get that last little bit of friction holding your feet back out of your way, then you're probably as deep as you can get for today. All right, that's it. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, crawl forward. Help pull your legs out of that side split position. They're going to be tired. They're not going to want to work. And once they're pulled in, take a second, relax, come back into standing when you can, and let's shake it out. Loosen up real fast so you can go back to whatever it is that you need to do the rest of today. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake, 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 shake. Noodle, 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 noodle. And do some stanky leg. Once your legs are starting to feel more or less normal, it's gonna be never, after 3 rounds of side splits, it'll never really be normal. But once that tension, that intensity, the feeling where you don't want to move at all starts going away and you feel a little bit looser overall, let's do our quick joint checks. Let's work on those hip circles real quick. Some high knees, work those hip flexors, pop into that mini squat, feel some pressure in the front of your ankle, in the knees. I'm feeling a little bit of tension and pressure here in the left ankle. So I'm going to spend a couple more of these reps here. And there we go. That is working fine. There's nothing weird going on. So I'm ready to continue. Add some calf raises, working your feet to your toes, get everything checked out and smooth. And once you are moving well everywhere, let's go ahead and wrap up for today. Whew. All right. Thank you everybody for coming in. I hope you had fun. I hope you did a whole bunch of stretching, a whole bunch of exercise. Joshua is out, and that's it. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed practicing consistency today. I hope you enjoyed hanging out in the community, enjoying the chat, and that's it. We're all done. This felt so much better as a warm-up. Yes, I know. I know. I speak from experience. I have been doing like the thing where I'm trying to pick up the intensity after the live. I do a couple more side splits, oftentimes because I spend time chatting after doing Q&A type of stuff, and then I shut down the apps and maybe I drink more coffee, have some water. By the time I'm done with all that, it's very common that I'm already cooled off, and it feels like I need to spend more time doing that warm up. But I'm like, do I really need to? I kind of warmed up already, and it's rough. So if you want to do other fitnessy stuff, make sure that you're warmed up, because you can do so much more than you ever thought possible if you're warmed up. And like, if you exercise a lot and you know that post warm up you're going to be Superman or Superwoman, whatever, like fine. But if you are not that frequent a working out type person, the difference between non-warmed up you and warmed up you is huge. Huge. Like if you see something on the internet, you're like, oh, I can do that. And you're like, okay, never mind, I can't do that. The difference between warmed up you doing it and like, cold you just watching a YouTube video and being like, I could do that. Massive, massive difference. So if there's anything you take away from today, warm up. It makes a huge difference. Lulu says, thank you for today. Was a little hard for my butt. Enjoy. Oh, it was a little bit hard for me, but enjoyed it a lot. Thank you, Lulu. I appreciate you letting me know, and I appreciate that you tried and put in the effort. Black Diamond says, "This was great. I don't know how you popped into my feed, but I'm glad I found you." Lovely. I don't know how that works either. The algorithm is crazy, but I'm glad that you're here, and I hope you consider practicing consistency because that is what we are all about. Yes, we do the stretches, we do the live side splits, we do the cool, moves that are good for your hips, but at the end of the day, the most important thing that I do is I show up every day, both for you and for me, because I clearly need it to do the side splits, and hopefully that means we can get a whole group of people working on some hard stuff together, hard being the side splits, and a whole bunch of people make a whole bunch of progress. Because that's the most important thing, right? Consistency, showing up, putting in the work. And it's hard. It is really freaking hard. Because if it was easy, then everybody would be superb at whatever thing they care about. And, most people are pretty okay, just not superb. So let's practice consistency. Let's build that little bit of community, interact in the chat, have fun, enjoy the experience so that it's easier for you to keep coming back and practice. If you can stay consistent elsewhere with some other means, like by all means, don't do that. All I care is your consistency. But if being here, having a little bit more fun, enjoyable time is what makes it work, then this is what this is for. This is what it is for me. And I'm hoping that the lives share with other people. Cool. All right. I think most people are off at this point, but if you're still on, thank you again for coming in and joining in today. I hope you feel really good about all that you accomplished because we did a nice set of side splits stretching. And with that, we are wrapping up at like 56 minutes, which might be, I can't remember how long yesterday was. I feel like yesterday was like 50, but which might be pretty short for the last couple of weeks. All right. Let's see level ups with the applause. I love it. Thank you, thank you. And wow, I'm having such a difficult time reading the white text. Where's my shirt? There we go. Boom. Dark shirt to contrast against the font. Ganassi says, "Yay, see you again, Lulu." Yes. Yes. All right. All right. Okay. Now I'm actually done. If you enjoyed the show, we practice consistency every day, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Come back, practice, have fun, enjoy each other, and make some progress together. That's it from me. I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye bye. And now, bye bye.